looking up there at Trevor Bain. And I introduced you as a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, but the Tony Stewart that I know as of late is the track prep guy on the tractor at the Chili Bowl.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I saw more of him there than I have in a while.
We put some hours in at Chili Bowl this year. I think we had 12 hours the first day, 7 hours the next 4 days, and 15 hours on Saturday. So it's pretty fun week.
A lot goes into that, too. I saw you study in the dirt, and I'm like, what the heck is he looking at the dirt for? And I understand the concept.
People think I was waiting for something to grow out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a science, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's it's definitely understanding how much moisture's in the track, and you're watching what it's doing and how it's changing as every event goes and runs on the track. So it's different than pavement racing because every time you go out on it, it's different than the time before. So you're, as the group that's doing the track prep, you have to stay on top of what it's doing, and you have the ability with what we do prep-wise. That feels good.
Our masseuse is now here.
Now I can't even think
Brian
straight. I was
Vickers.
like, wow, about another hour of that, and I'd be asleep.
He was hoping it was a girl, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, he's got sensitive hands. I mean, they're soft, but strong, but firm. But firm.
So. Oh, we can add a chair.
Look, we bring Brian Vickers on here too. Absolutely.
I'm glad to see him. I mean, this guy's had as much drama in the last couple of years as I've had, health-wise. So I'm just glad to see you here.
I mean, I feel like we've had, and by the way, I appreciate all the texts and calls. I mean, it just means the world. I mean, we've both gone. I can look in his eyes. He knows what I'm talking about. We've gone through enough.
We've been a support system to each other over the last couple of years now.
Well, tell you what, we'll just step aside here.
Yeah,
Brian Vickers, Tony Stewart. Tony, ask him a question.
Well, no, actually, we were up here earlier. We had Elliott Sadler, Joey Logano. Elliott took over the interview, started asking Joey questions. So he hijacked the interview. So we just called it the Elliott Sadler interview. But
well,
adios.
You think about where he's from. I mean, there's really not a lot to do there, so he probably talks to himself a lot. So it's
in the mirror.
Probably easy for him to do that.
In the mirror all the time with the comb in his hand.
How was your off season, buddy?
I enjoyed it. I went to Indiana. I stayed, did the family thing through Christmas, stayed home till the 2nd of January, and then I actually got busy and went on the road again, and went to Yuma, Arizona for a week of sprint car racing, then went to Tulsa for the Chili Bowl. Then went back to Charlotte and started getting ready for everything.
How cool Rico went in that Chili Bowl. And I think I saw on Instagram he put up that his favorite part about it was having you there as like his mentor for that. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was the best car all week. I mean, to go to an event where you have 330 cars and you could just tell from lap 1 of the week that he was the dominant car there. It was pretty cool. I mean, that's the most competitive field I've ever seen at a Chili Bowl. So it was, and then he celebrates that by signing a K&N deal, and now he's with us in NASCAR. So you're going to see a lot out of him this year.
Yeah.
Brian Vickers, I see you got a new role here, the new host. I don't know if that's of NASCAR Media Day here at NASCAR.com. So, if this driving thing never works out, maybe you got to place right here on television. What do you think?
I think you do just fine. I'm going to stay as far away from it as possible. I enjoyed it. It's been fun. We, I don't know. I like getting up here and just kind of being yourself, especially when it's on the internet, right? Because you edit this, right?
But you need to rethink letting him do this.
We're live.
This is live.
We're live.
This is live.
Not tape. But you need to rethink him doing this full time because look who he's with all day today.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
It seems like a rough job you have here.
Well,
how bad can it possibly get here?
Yeah.
You guys.
She carries me.
No,
so,
he carries me.
So
I'm just here to give the
I just want to carry you. So.
Well,
by the way, she's told us several times she's getting married in 49 days.
I know. That's why I say we got to do it now here.
You have 49 days.
And the bad thing is we really like the guy she's marrying.
Yes,
I know.
Absolutely.
Or you would be giving me a whole lot more crap,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
While I have you up here, I did want to talk to you a little bit. I mean, Denny.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Denny missed a couple races. He's missed races, and he's made the chase. And that was something I kind of looked at my notes and thought, hey, Brian's in this. Like, health scare or not, like, you have still the whole season ahead of you. That's got to be exciting, right?
No, it really is. I'm thankful that I think we're both thankful that NASCAR put that little medical waiver, kind of in the chase format, and they gave me a medical exemption this year, missing only 2 races, which was kind of a shocker for me coming out of surgery. How I felt kind of the week and the weeks afterwards, but the recovery's it's just kind of stepped up so quick, and I've had great rehab, and I feel fantastic. I was actually reminded me. Someone asked me, "Do you think you guys can still win the championship?" And the answer is absolutely. Especially with the new format, but even the old format. I remember the last year you won it. I think something happened here at Daytona. You came out of here 43rd, right?
Yeah.
Which the only difference between me missing the race and finishing 43rd is 1 point. It really is, and you still came back to win the championship. So it's more than possible. I mean, it's frustrating. It's tough. We as racers, we love to watch racing. That's what we do. That's what we love to watch. We do it all weekend. We watch races all around the world. We watch the truck races, the Xfinity races. But when you're supposed to be in the car, it's different. Yeah. And we've talked about this a lot, and it's tough. You want to be here, you want to support your team, you want to be here for the guys. But it's just painful watching the car that you're supposed to be in going around the racetrack. I'm going to be here for Daytona supporting the Air and Stream Machine team. I'm going to be in Atlanta supporting them as well. And I'd love to see nothing more than that car in victory lane. But it's bittersweet. It's painful to watch the car go around the racetrack. But luckily, it's only going to be 2 races, and I think we can come back from that.
I like the spirit out of both of you guys. I talked to you at the Chili Bowl, and it was interesting even listening to your little presser that you had there as a track prep guy. And I think what was neat just with both of you, the things that you have endured. I mean, Tony, you're invigorated to come back and give back to the fans and so forth. The people that just put on your T-shirts and so forth each and every week.
Yeah, it's it's like Brian said. We don't like seeing our cars on the racetrack and not being in them. I mean, that's where our passion is. That's where our heart is. That's where we feel like we belong, and that's our home. So not only for us being inside there, but the fans that are a part of what we do. It's different for them, and it's not the same for them. So it's nice to start 2015 all over again and put everything the last year and a half behind us. And I'm finally on the Twitter scene, and
which I love, by the way.
I'm squirrely on it.
You know how to use
You're fun to follow.
Yeah. I actually carry my phone in my pocket all the time.
That's awesome.
Now they even put my schedule
on. Is that what
they
that
don't
is?
even print it out on paper anymore.
Oh, you keep your schedule. Oh, fancy.
He's a texter. He's a tweeter now.
Yeah. Twitter.
I'm getting caught up.
You're on Twitter.
Yes.
But it's fun to read the fans and how. I mean, they were as much a part of getting us pumped up to come to Daytona as we do on our own. I mean, to see how excited everybody's been about, everybody's been counting down the last month and counting down every day. Somebody's putting exactly how many days, and it's like you start adopting their personalities and their anticipation for coming back here. So
just keep rubbing it in.
Hey, it's only 2, Brian.
Only 2 races.
Hey, can you and I just have a season without any drama? I mean,
I'm all for just starting it here. I mean, why not just start right now?
Right, yeah. Should we do? I mean, should I just push you off the stage just to get it over with?
Yeah.
I think I could survive it, but I mean, the way my luck's been, who knows what would happen if we.
How's your leg, by the way?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, when it's warm out, you can't even see me limping at all. And when it gets cold outside, though, it reminds you that it's still not 100% yet.
So can you tell when a storm's coming?
Yes.
You can, really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you really?
I can't tell in the car, though, which is the only bad thing.
Okay.
But I can tell you about an hour away when a storm's coming.
Really?
So before the race, if there's a chance of rain, we know who to ask.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've got a metal wire in my chest. I wonder if I'll get that same weather reading. I don't know. I haven't felt it yet.
We'll have to see if we can.
Yeah,
we'll have to tune them in.
The producer is trying to rein us back in now.
The producer can say whatever he wants at this point because he's not here and doesn't have control.
He's actually back in Charlotte.
So
you believe
he definitely doesn't
He
have
is.
control.
We've got the mics.
That is true, and it is the Brian Vickers show from now on.
We will tell you when we're done, and not until then. So just sit there, sweat it, worry all you want. When we're done, we'll let you know. So just sit back and enjoy the ride.
That's
Keith,
right.
you got that?
Speaking of the ride, Daytona 500, you got to talk a little racing too.
It is, after all, what we're down here
absolutely.
for, ironic enough.
Here's the deal. How fun is that race while you're in it? I mean, I know it's challenging. Listen, I know what you guys do is challenging. but it's got to be fun too to get out there in the draft and try to manipulate the system. You're looking at me like I have like 5 heads.
No, the question's a legitimate question. The answer is not so simple, from my perspective at least, because you're trying to figure out where do you need to be. I mean, 500 miles, you've got a lot of pit stops. You're going to get shuffled back and forth in a single stint from pit stop to pit stop, let alone, the whole course of the race. So you're trying to figure out where do you need to be, where do you want to be, how are you going to get there, what's the, even though you want to be, the perfect scenario is you get up front and you lead 200 laps and you call it a day. But it never works that way. And so you're trying to figure out what position, when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. And you almost, the way I've always seen it, it's you have to kind of play the race like watching Peyton Manning call audibles in a football game. Because one minute you think you're in a good spot, and then you see guys around you getting aggressive, or you get somebody that you're not real comfortable around, and they might be doing something that you just don't feel like it's the best time to be in that scenario. So you try to protect yourself and get out of that scenario. Either try to go forward if you can, or if you can't, sometimes it's better to go backwards and kind of regroup and wait for a different time. But that's the hard part. Is it doesn't look like we're doing a lot during the race, but mentally you're working from the time they drop the green flag to this checkered, trying to figure out what's the right scenario, where do you want to be, how do you want to get there, positioning yourself around guys that you're pitting around in pit stalls and timing of when you're going to come in. So there's a lot of variables that we think about during the race.
Brian, he said it's like Peyton Manning, okay? Do you call Omaha much while you're out there on the racetrack?
All the time. No, he's right. It's probably one of the most mentally draining races I've ever been in my life. It's you always the funny thing is it's a 2.5 mile racetrack and you mostly hold it wide open, and you'd never get a chance to rest. If you're here by yourself running around, I mean, it's one of the most boring things.
We used to sit there and take our cell phones when the cameras came out, and we'd drive one-handed and hold the phone up and say, your buddies say, what are you doing today? And send them the video, say, this is what I'm doing today.
Wow.
When we had to come down every Daytona testing. But when you're in the draft, it is like no other place. I mean, you literally I think you get more chance to rest at Bristol than you do Daytona in the draft.
Yeah, I agree.
It is unbelievable.
Well, we will listen to the producer on this because, Tony, I know you got a lot of stuff to do. And before we let Brian go, we're going to let the new host of NASCAR Media Day introduce the driver right behind you, Carl Edwards, to the stage so we can talk to him.
A new Toyota Camry driver, I believe.
He's on his 20th bottle of water already.
Hey.
Welcome.
He said say that.
Tony, we thank you very much, bud.
Thank you, Tony.
Am I staying or going?
You can do either, whatever you want to do.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Am I?
Okay.